What's going on, everyone? So, Russell Westbrook officially has a team. Russell Westbrook has signed a 1-year, $3.6 million contract. So 1 year, basically, vet minimum type of deal with the Sacramento Kings. I'm happy for him. Look, I love Russell Westbrook. No, even with the Lakers, it's terrible. I've always been rooting for him. I do think it was a combination of things. Like, people love to scapegoat Russell Westbrook during that Lakers stint. I don't think you could scapegoat just one player. It wasn't a good fit. It didn't work. It didn't make sense. But it wasn't solely on Russell Westbrook, right? Like, the team had several issues, including Russell Westbrook. Not all the issues were because of Russell Westbrook. But nonetheless, I digress. I'm always rooting for Russ. One of my favorite players to watch. He's one of the last of that, like, just give me the ball, get out the way type of guys. His energy, his effort. You never question his commitment to the game. He's Mr. Reliable. You talk about the best ability is availability. The guy is as available as it gets. Is he the player he once was? No. Is he is he not great by, analytical standards? Sure. But you can make that argument basically his entire career, right? Like, he's not the player once was, but look, he has done an excellent job. Say what you want about him. He has done an excellent job of adapting and molding into kind of that ideal defensive guard, right? He's embraced that defensive assignment and has really taken pride in that. And he was their second in Denver last year, which is why it's surprising they didn't re-sign him, because he was genuinely their second or third best player for the entirety of the playoffs, right? The guy was phenomenal for them during the playoffs. And it was just like, man, I'm surprised that they didn't sign him, right? Like, they didn't keep him around. But now he's going to go to Sacramento. Unfortunately, Sacramento, I don't think is going to be very good. I don't even know if they're going to be a play-in team. I think more likely than not, they missed the playoffs entirely. Russell Westbrook does, though, however, solve a lot of needs for that team. The biggest problem that team has is defense, particularly perimeter defense and point of attack defense. Russ provides all of that, right? So, like, having him with, like, Keon Ellis, right? Dennis Schroeder went there, if I'm not mistaken. So they have now the at least point of attack guards and pieces that I think could make some sense for that team. I don't think they're going to be very good. Russell Westbrook, if he can focus more on being like that playmaker defender, right? Like, kind of, here 3-and-D kind of guard. Don't really expect him to be 3-and-D guard, but if he could be kind of the D with the playmaking capabilities, because the guy could still go dish out 10 assists, right? Like, he still is a guy that could do that. Like, and he's got the downhill speed. Add him with, like, Zach LaVine, and him and Dennis Schroeder have played well together in the past, right? So there is a version of this that I do think could be fun. Now, is it fun to the sense of, like, oh, now Sacramento is a playoff team or a great team? Probably not. Never say never. You never really know. I think it's incredibly slim. But I am glad Russ is still in the league, because I think he's a guy that deserves to be in the league. We've seen guys, right, that had to kind of be kicked out of the league to come to the realization. Right? Like Carmelo Anthony had to be out of the league for a couple years, came back and was able to play a couple more seasons because he bought into that role, right? Allen Iverson probably could have played a couple more seasons, but he didn't want to buy into that role, right? Russell Westbrook, he kind of had that issue, but then you saw him. Even dating back to the Lakers, right? Again, say what you want about Russell Westbrook. He committed. He was the one that sacrificed to do everything. You want me to come off the bench? Fine, I'll come off the bench. You want me to just buy in on the defense side of things? I'll buy in on the defense. Like that, the Clippers and then ultimately the Nuggets version that everyone was like, dude, this guy's fantastic, right? Like, started with the Lakers. And then they end up getting off of him because you needed to. It was inevitable. And then he further bought into that role with the Clippers and then fully, like, that's who he became, made his identity with the Denver Nuggets. He was very good with the Nuggets last year. Yes, you take the bad with the good. Yes, there's moments, games, and sequences where you watch Russell Westbrook and you're like, dude, this guy might have another MVP level season, right? And then you watch another game or a play or a sequence where you're like, yeah, maybe this guy should be out of the league, right? Like like you have these two extremes now with Russell Westbrook, right? But again, like, if he's your main starter, he's the guy you're looking to do everything, you're probably in trouble. Like, I think you can only go two ways with Russell Westbrook. Either A, you keep him in that assignment limited role. And I think he's a guy that's going to give you maximum effort. So he's a guy that I think could really kind of just like, hey, we're going to give you 20 minutes a night in, just like this role. And I think you give him that and let him just buy in. I think he is manic enough. He will be that, right? Again, that playmaker off the bench and then just defender. Like, if you can get your shot off, you get go ahead, do that. But I think the other side is you just let Russ be Russ, right? But I don't think at this stage you're winning anything with that. But I do think you get a team like the best version of Sacramento might just be that. Let Russell Westbrook be your point guard, put the ball in his hands, have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis just orbit around and let him just go be crazy, right? We saw him play off of Jokic very well, and I think you could have similar actions with him and Sabonis, so I think that could work. But I think you just give the ball to Russell Westbrook and just let him, you live with the good, you live with the bad. But I think if you just kind of let him be your engine, I actually think he could be, the last time we saw that was Washington, and Washington made the playoffs and were actually really good. They weren't contender good or anything like that, but they were a good team, right? They had some success. Russell was a 30, what was he, 30, 11 and 11, something like that off the top of my head. I'm not expecting him to necessarily be that, but I could see a version where Russell Westbrook has a bunch of shooters and a bunch of guys, put a bunch of athleticism around him. Zach LaVine is actually shoot 3-point shooters. Sabonis can stretch the floor a little bit. You have Keegan Murray as your 3-point shooter. DeMar DeRozan kind of be that mid-range guy. And you can put these guys in different actions, different sets, give Russell Westbrook the ball, play that run and gun game, right? Let him just get up and down the court, have your athlete guys around him, Keegan Murray, guys like that, push the pace on teams, and just let Russ go give you, 15, 8 and 8. And that might end up being the best version of that team. We'll see. Time will tell, but I'm glad to see Russell Westbrook on a team, on a roster. Like I said, I know, there's bad blood between Laker fans and him. I don't really have that. It's unfortunate. I really wanted to see him win, LA guy, UCLA, all of that, grew up with him. I would have loved to see him have the success with the Lakers. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I want to see him have success. Not at the detriment to the Lakers, but want to see him have some success. But we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. But again, I'm happy for him. Surprised it was just a 1-year deal. That's probably who he is at this stage of his career. He's probably just signing 1-year deals, being a journeyman until he's ready to hand it up. But we'll see. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me not. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.